Sure.
I think this is the last day you did. Yeah,
You know, some years ago we did do it in the high school, but I don't remember what we were doing.
yeah, I thought September certainly would be.
Hey Greg, how are you?
Okay.
Hi Ron. Are we all here? Where's Ron?
No Ron. He knows at 7:15 we'll go to.
That's true. That's great, Doc. Because lately, let me tell you something.
I
Curious.
Excellent.
Where are we going?
Just texting.
Down here, up here?
Is that?
Oh my goodness gracious. The lighting is better now.
All right, we're going down.
I remember that concept.
What's that?
With the picture.
See, I had that mask on.
That's what I'm wearing during school day.
No, you don't need that one. You don't need that one. Just one table. There you go. Can you take that? Ron, you're over here on this side there. Yeah, you're in the back row. I think we should do at least one with the mask
I don't see any smiles.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, show me. I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
The rest of us don't give a damn.
Yeah, one with that. Okay, boys, take it off now. Don't breathe. No breathing.
That's serious.
Good?
I get a couple of
I like the mask one better. Thank you.
right here.
Oh, Brian, here's yours. Yeah, everybody's good. I know. We've been working. It's just the Lord's So it's busy.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll quiet down soon. I do. I don't know why I'm here. I'm here to see native congregation. So yeah, I hope
They had to cancel, you know, wasn't supposed to be at Disney. Yeah. He's the assistant to business in, oh, really? Yeah.
Our school is elementary.
Not with me.
Our weather.
Hey. You're in my perch.
Everything's working. Don't breathe hard.
Yeah, I know. I usually just stay up here for like 5 minutes just to make sure the main mics. I mean, we tested them before, but
This by the way is live. Yeah, we're live streaming.
And his first day is his first day in person in sixth grade. Excited and nervous.
With all that energy they had.
So he goes tomorrow and he goes back on Thursday to do the same thing we are.
Because I really do the lights with the questions on the stage as soon as they're like, because the way they sound, it's like, so we can always like play with it, just saying maybe not too bright. They'll let you know.
Good evening, everybody. Would you all please rise and join us for the pledge? And when you're done, please remain standing for a moment of silence in recognition of all those that were lost on September 11th. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please let the record reflect that all board members are present. Do we have any announcements? Okay, are there any members of the public wishing to speak on an agenda item? Thank you. Can I have a motion for the approval of minutes of the August 25th, 2020 planning session? Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel, Mr. Keller.
Thank you, Mr. Geller. May I have a motion for the approval of the amended probationary appointment of Kristen Kelly, Assistant Principal, effective September 21st, 2020 to September 20th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the leave of absence pursuant to the Federal Family Medical Leave Act for Megan Linderman, Family and Consumer Sciences, effective September 1st, 2020 through December 9th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the leave of absence paid pursuant to the Federal Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act for Jody Abelson Summer, Elementary, effective September 1st, 2020 through September 15th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the leave of absence paid pursuant to the Federal Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act for Laura Hill Premiano, music, effective September 8th, 2020 through September 1st, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of leave of absence paid pursuant to the Emergency Family Medical Leave Expansion Act for Laura Hill Premiano, music, effective September 22nd, 2020 through November 27th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the resignation of Melissa Gallagher, pre-K, effective September 29th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment amended for Marie Averzo, bus driver, effective August 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment amended for Leif Gunderson, bus driver, effective August 14th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment amended for Yesenia Campos, bus driver, effective August 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment amended for Kevin Cosda, special education aide, effective August 31st, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment of Jennifer Gallagher, cafeteria aide, effective September 1st, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of Wendy Kokmar, health office aide, effective September 17th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment of Danielle Kilroy Lano, health office aide, effective August 31st, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment of Karina McCormick, special education aide, effective September 1st, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment of Catherine Schupak, special education aide, effective August 31st, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of a change in title for Lisa Saki, health office aide, effective September 1st, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the resignation of Christine Bashi, health office aide, effective August 26th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the resignation of Danielle Geck, permanent substitute teacher, effective September 1st, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the resignation of Christine Palumbo, part-time food service worker, effective August 26th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the retirement of Joanne Brodsky, senior office assistant, effective December 31st, 2020, after 37 years.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
May I just make a comment? I think I see Mrs. Brodsky back there. Mrs. Brodsky, why don't you stand up, which I know is probably the last thing you want to do right now. We will be accepting the retirement of a number of incredibly talented colleagues tonight. And Mrs. Brodsky has been here for 37 years. I remember as a middle school teacher, you were over at the other middle school, and an incredible resource and really a wonderful asset to our food service department, and we are going to miss you.
Congratulations, enjoy.
And thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the retirement of Deborah DeCristo, Special Education Aide, effective September 25th, 2020, after 26 years?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the retirement of Barbara LaRossi, bus driver, effective December 26, 2020, after 24 years?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the retirement of Marianne Quattrochi, senior account clerk typist, effective December 31st, 2020, after 34 years?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the retirement of Dorothy Rabin, senior office assistant, effective December 31st, 2020, after 21 years?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Taylor, before you go on, I just want to point out that the five ladies worked for the district for a combined 142 years. So I'd like to thank all of you and wish you all the best of luck.
May I have a motion for the approval of the leave of absence pursuant to the Family Medical Leave Act for Sasha Napoli, school monitor, effective September 1st, 2020 through November 6th, 2020?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the leave of absence for Teresa Macario, cafeteria aide, effective September 1st, 2020 to June 25th, 2021?
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the adult education teachers for the fall of 2020 as listed on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the substitute teachers as listed on your agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the mentor program coordinator as listed on your agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the alternative school co-coordinators as listed on your agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the alternative school instructors amended as listed on your agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the fall 2020 middle school coaches as listed on your agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Curriculum update, Mrs. Morrison.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to just start off by giving an update on the opening of schools. The 2021 school year is off to a great start. Our students and staff have done a really tremendous job transitioning well to the new classroom and building procedures required as a result of the pandemic. The focus for our K-12 students at this time is to acclimate them to the new school environment, to provide them with opportunities to get to know their teachers and each other, to prepare them with the practices and procedures that would be initiated should we be required to go to remote learning at any point, and to ensure that their social, emotional, and mental well-being is effectively supported. Academics and assessment of grade level and subject area skills will commence throughout the month of September once students and teachers have had time to settle into the new school year. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the administrative team, the teachers, the nurses, the secretaries, the custodial workers, and all other staff members that really worked diligently throughout the entire summer in order to make sure that we were prepared to open on time this year. So a big thank you to every single employee in this district that worked to get us open. I've spent the last 3 days going in and out of buildings and classrooms throughout the district, and it truly is great to see our students back in their classrooms, interacting with their teachers and their friends. So thank you very much for all of your hard work. K through 6 virtual classes will commence on Monday, September 14th. Information was sent out to all parents and guardians this afternoon in regard to the startup of those classes. Tomorrow, K through 6 virtual learners can pick up their one-to-one devices from district office between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. And they can expect to receive information directly from their classroom teachers or their virtual teachers at some point tomorrow. This week, the K-6 virtual teachers were provided with curriculum and technology professional development, and they will continue to receive support throughout the coming weeks. At the high school, we started the school year with our 9th grade special class students that have a full program. So that's taking English, math, social studies, and science. We started them attending school in person 4 days a week and remotely on Wednesday. It was noted at that time that the 10th through 12th grade special classes would be evaluated after the second week of the school year to determine the feasibility of the full-time special class students in those classes returning to the school building 4 days per week and working remotely from home on Wednesdays as well. I'm pleased to report that as of Monday, September 14th, our 10th grade special class students that partake in the full special class program, again, the 4 subject areas, will return to the building for 4 days of instruction and work remotely on Wednesday. The 11th and 12th grade special classes will be evaluated again after the second week of school. Middle school and high school students approved for remote learning due to documented approved COVID-19 circumstances will officially start their coursework next week. The approved high school students will partake in 5 days of virtual learning from home following their regular school schedule. Information was sent to applicable students and parents yesterday in this regard. The approved middle school students will partake in cohorted learning instructed by teachers after school hours. We are hopeful that updated information can be shared with the middle school parents and guardians by the close of school tomorrow or Monday at the latest. I would just like to conclude by again extending my appreciation to the entire school community, including our parents, our teachers, our students, our staff, our administrative team, for your ongoing feedback and patience as we continue to work through this ever-changing process. I would also like to give a special shout out to the IT department, who has really been working 24/7 to make sure we have our one-to-one devices and that our instructional programs are up and running. So once again, it's great to have the buildings hustling and bustling, and thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morrison.
Yeah, Mr. Gale, if I could just say, one addition, I'd like to compliment Mrs. Morrison, the whole group, on really a tremendous effort to get the kids back to school. I mean, many of us were there at the doors to welcome them. I know my own children, the kids that came through that door were ready to be back, and the schools were prepared, and what a wonderful accomplishment in this time of crisis that we've got our kids back in school, making progress, and I just want to thank everyone who had that, put that effort forward, and it's a joy to work with that group and have the kids back in school, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'd also like to add, when I picked my children up from school that Thursday, they were smiling ear to ear, and I didn't have to really say anything else. The expression on your face said it all. I'm grateful for the school community and the job that they did, getting the buildings ready, the teachers getting ready, and everyone that put all the effort into it. I just thank them, and looking forward to a great school year.
Good. I agree with both of you, and I thank everyone for their efforts. I know that there was a lot of hard work done over the summer, and so far, it's showing. Thank you very much. Okay, moving forward, Mr. Antonello will discuss the meeting of the Education Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Geller. The Education Committee met on September 8th at 7 o'clock at Peach Street Middle School. Administrators in attendance were Mrs. Bernadette Burns, Mrs. Dawn Morrison, Mrs. Lisa Pilati, Mr. Brian Taylor. Board members there included myself, Mr. Peter McCann, Mr. Anthony Tussey, Mr. Thomas Compatello, and Mr. Geller. The first thing discussed was opening day update, which went smoothly as possible. Every staff member reinforced the new rules and explained the importance of these procedures to the students. I know Mr. Tussey and Mr. McGann talked about their own kids. My kids went to school crying, but came home smiling. So I think the opening day went as smoothly as it could go. The second thing discussed was superintendent's conference days. The district held 3 superintendent's conference days before school so that teachers and administrators would have time to prepare. During those 3 days, many steps were taken to prepare. These included staff development in technology, iPad training, using of Seesaw, social and emotional training on COVID for medical professionals. The third item discussed was K-6 virtual learning. The kids will get their one-to-one devices this week. Teachers received training on those devices. There was 1 hiring of K-6 teacher. Permanent subs were redirected within the district, and there are 20 virtual kindergartners. The fourth item discussed was remote instruction. 9 through 12 remote instruction will be 5 days a week with a regular schedule. It starts in middle school next week. The last item discussed was the high school and the hybrid model start date, also beginning next week. The belief was that teachers spending time with their kids in class was the most important thing this week. The meeting ended at 7:40.
Thank you, Mr. Antonello. And Mr. McGinnis will discuss the meeting of the Finance Committee.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, September 8th. Committee members present were Peter McCann and myself. Other board members in attendance, Steve Geller, Richard Antonello, Tom Compatello, and Anthony Tussey. Administrators present, Superintendent Burns, Lisa Pilati, the Assistant Superintendent for Business, Dawn Morrison, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Brian Taylor, the Executive Director of Human Resources. The purpose of the meeting, as always, was to review the warrants for the month and discuss pertinent fiscal matters. The meeting was called to order at 7:20. We started the meeting discussing the monthly reports. So the Treasurer's report for extracurricular funds for June and July were presented and accepted by the committee. The payroll summary report for August was presented and accepted by the committee. The internal claims audit report for August presented and accepted by the committee. The Assistant Manager Audit Trail for August was presented and accepted by the committee. The payroll certification for August 21st and September 4th presented and accepted by the committee. And the Finance Committee received the warrants for the month. And we are in the process of going through our year-end audit, and we'll get final financial statements as they become available in the next few weeks. We reviewed the following board agenda finance items. Approval of the budget transfers was presented and accepted by the committee for the submission to the board. Approval of surplus items was miscellaneous math textbooks. Approval of a 2019-20 health services contract with South Huntington Schools. Approval of contracts for the 2020-2021 year for Access 7 Services, Bayshore School District, Comac School District for the fall, Deer Park School District, East Morris School District, and Syosset School District. We discussed the approval of change order for DSC Electric for the West Islip High School in the amount of $9,400. And we did discuss that the internal auditors have completed their field work in the area of purchasing and issued a draft agreed-upon procedures report, and the district is reviewing. The external auditors completed their field work this week, and the district will be finalizing the 2019-20 school year and publishing the financial statements and completing the ST3 state reporting. The meeting was adjourned at 7:25.
Thank you, Ms. McGinnis. Mr. McCann will discuss the meeting of the Buildings and Grounds Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Geller. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met on September 8th. We began at 7:40 and finished at 8 o'clock. Board members in attendance were myself, Mr. McGinnis, Mr. Compatello, Mr. Geller, Mr. Antonello, and Mr. Tussey. Administrators in attendance were Mrs. Burns, Mrs. Morrison, Mr. Taylor, James Bossi, Wayne DeMarzo, and Elisa Pilati. The beginning of the update was the bond update. In the midst of all our COVID-related projects, we still have many Phase 4 and B and 5 bond projects that were worked on and completed. There are some still in the works, but we went over what the exterior ones were: football field recarpeted, building names, bleacher pads, various paving projects finished, indoor garbage cans, oil tank leaker, the high school real ramp, Bayview ADA curb cuts, Alliance Path and security booth, which was completed, I believe, Monday or Sunday. The team really worked on getting that done, ready for the school to be open. Interior, we were able to work with the group and get the 95% of all the bathrooms finished, which were expected to be delayed. They worked through the entire weekend, with the exception of 4 in the high school, 2 staff, and 2 students' bathrooms are still underway, but should be completed in due time. But we have alternate bathrooms for them. The Bayview classroom spine ceilings and new lights were put in, and we've got some work that was delayed a bit, some due to COVID and some just due to timing. The blinds that are going to be replaced throughout the district were delayed slightly. The planetarium upgrade has been delayed due to COVID because of the screen that we're going to be putting in there. The pool and the plumbing is still in the works, so the pool is still not in use at this time, but soon to be completed. And we've got a few other various projects. The water fountains throughout the district are being worked on as we speak. Second part of the update was the COVID-19 update, cleaning and disinfecting and staffing. The team has done a great job, thanks to James Bossi, the custodial staff, the grounds crew, for getting these buildings prepared, cleaning and disinfecting, all of that. We spoke about having all the supplies that we needed ordered and in place for the first day of school. We've got Google Forms being created so that the staff can order more PPE, which was something that came up throughout. Repositioning some of the custodial staff who would normally work a little bit more at night or less during the day, through the day, as we're not still allowing outside groups to participate in the school district. Activities, that's the Department of Health has restricted that, so we're not letting outside groups. So we can reposition some of the staff that was normally at night with the activities to be during the day, so we can have that extra staff to make sure that everything is cleaned and disinfected appropriately. The Bridges Academy is looking to add an awning to their outside of the Curdy building, so that is under consideration. With all that said and done, buildings were ready and opened on Tuesday for school, and again, we appreciate all of that work that was put into that. And one last thing, the generator project, as we all ran to get generators during the hurricane, the generator project for back at the high school and the district office is being fast-tracked and should be installed in time. So thanks to everyone. The meeting ended at 8 o'clock, and we appreciate all the work.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. And Mr. Compitello will discuss the meeting of the Special Education Committee.
Good evening. The Special Education Committee met at 08:30 on September 8th. Members attended, Ms. Ballard, myself, Ms. Morrison, and Ms. We reviewed the K through 9 and 10, 11 special education services throughout the district, everything. And there wasn't much else going on. The meeting ended at 09:15 with rapid.
Thank you, Mr. Compitello. Mrs. Pilati will discuss business items.
Thank you. May I have a motion for the approval of budget transfers 3916 through 3932 for the general fund and 3923 through 3933 for the capital fund?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the 2020-21 contracts as listed on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the 2019-2020 health services contract with South Huntington Union Free School District?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of surplus miscellaneous math textbooks?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of change order for VSC Electric for West Islip High School in the amount of $9,400.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for the approval of the district emergency response plan?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for the approval of the Ask Us First Amendment to lease agreement?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? So this is an amendment that allows Ask Us to use some additional rooms, playground, music room, and some other classrooms while the hybrid learning is going on. So basically, we're doing it so that Ask Us has some more space, can accommodate more children during the on-off day education. So once we return to normal, the lease will revert. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for the approval of Masera contract of sale?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, so this is a deal with Terwilliger Bertone. They are also in partnership with Kelly Development. Terwilliger Bertone will be building all of the rental units. Kelly Development will be building the 26 co-ops, so it's 100 condos, sorry. It's 100 rental units, 26 condos. It's in the total amount of $9,545,455. $1 million of that is actually a donation to build a new field down, will likely go down between Currahee and Bayview and replace the fields that we've been using at Masera. So that's $1 million, and the contract, the sale itself is $8.545 million. So again, the total is $9.5 million plus. All in favor? Opposed?
Just going to be abstaining my vote.
Okay, and motion carries. So now I also want to share that we have laid out a little timetable. Basically, now that we've approved the contract, of course, now it goes to the residents. So we will be holding a series of community forums, which is basically going to be an opportunity for you, the residents, to get to know the developer. You'll have the opportunity to ask them questions, see the plans, ask us questions, of course, as well. We will be sending out postcards shortly, letting everybody know what dates they are. As of this moment, of course, we're still operating under the same rules as we are here tonight, which is a maximum of 50 in the room at one time. So we're going to work that out and see if the governor changes that. If not, we'll be doing 50 at a time in the building and live stream. But as I say, if anything changes with the state, then hopefully we'll get more people in the room at a time. So postcards will be going out. The forums will be held on October 7th, that's a Wednesday, Tuesday, October 13th, and Thursday, October 22nd. They're all going to be at 7 p.m. And they're all going to be right here. The vote, we have the vote scheduled for November 17th, and that would be up at the high school. And depending on how the forums go and what, people have a lot more questions, we may add more after that, but we'll see what happens. So it'll be those three at a minimum, and like I said, we will be sending out postcards with the dates of the forums and a postcard with the date of the vote. The postcard with the date of the vote will also tell you how you can get an absentee ballot if you choose to do so. But as of right now, the vote will be in the usual format, which means by that I mean in person, with absentee ballots an option as well. And again, that's pending no further change from the governor, the executive order. Okay. Mrs. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Geller. So as Mrs. Morrison shared, our teachers and staff returned to school last Tuesday, September 1st, for our superintendent's conference days. We did run 3 of them, provided a number of opportunities for our staff to become comfortable with what seemed like their new surroundings, our technology, and a variety of other issues. So I'd really like to extend my appreciation to the entire instructional and support staff for a very smooth opening of schools, considering the circumstances, and especially to our custodial, clerical, IT, and administrative colleagues who worked tirelessly through the summer to prepare for our students' return. Our enrollment stands at 4,009 students. That's a decrease of 86 students from last year. We saw that decrease primarily at at Beach Street and at the high school. And it was really rewarding to see how excited the kids were when they came back to school over the last few days. So we're really looking forward to a great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. I just want to go back for a minute. So I mentioned the date of the vote, and just so everybody's clear on this, of course, the board has voted to sign the contract tonight. It does not mean one way or the other that the development will be built yet, okay? That is ultimately in the hands of you, the residents, the voters. So if the vote is successful, then the contractor will work with the town, to complete the permit process. And, of course, if the vote is not, then the board will start over. I just wanted to be clear on that. Okay. Anybody else have anything? All right. Now is the point where we ask the public to speak. And we did have a question from Mr. Marmo previously that we had told him that we would answer tonight. So I'm going to read the questions and then. What issues, if any, did BOCES raise regarding the disrepair of the building prior, and that's Masera, prior to planning the capital improvements? During the lease and prior to preparing the bond, BOCES had raised concerns about leaks and humidity in the building, and the district actually had made repairs to the leaky roof and whatever damages we were aware of, both back as far as 2009, 2010 school year, and 2014, 2015. So essentially, whatever they told us was going on, we addressed in as best as we could. That said, and this will talk to question number 2 and 3. Question 2 was, did the scope of the architecture review and recommendations regarding the capital improvements include the Masera building? If not, why not? If so, what were the findings? The board had actually included the Masera roof in the bond. It was going to be, you've heard us talk about, we're up to phase 4 and we're going on phase 5, but phase 6 is going to be the money that's left over, and it was going to be addressed in phase 6. However, at this point, of course, BOCES told us they were going to move to another building out east, and obviously the roof is not going to be done. Question 3, what, if any, capital recommendations regarding Masera were made by the Buildings and Grounds Supervisor and the Buildings and Grounds Committee? So, C number 2, said the roof. As I said, anything that we were aware of having to do with the interior were being done as it arose. What was the financial impact of leasing the Masera building in the years leading up to the lease's expiration? Break even, loss, or gain? We were seeing an average annual gain of around $300,000. Did that all your questions? I'm sorry? Yes. From that. Okay, well, we got questions. I know I saw Mr. Marmo and I think I saw Mr. Marmo and Well, you, Mr. Marmo.
Okay. I have a number of questions about Westbrook and Craig.
Okay.
And I have one question at the end about Masera. So Could you please tell us what the condition currently is for Westbrook and Kearney?
The question was, what is the current condition of Westbrook and Kearney?
And what I mean by that is, are they in need of a capital improvement? Do they have mold? Have there been any complaints by the tenants about the condition of either building?
So both buildings are in really excellent shape for the most part. We suffered some damage to the Westbrook roof, I want to make sure I have the right building, in that last storm in August. And we are in the process of getting some estimates for the repair of that roof. There actually was some penetration because of some of the tree limbs. So they've been patched, but we have to do a little bit more work there. But that was a direct result of that August storm just this year. Other than that, the buildings are...
So there's no mold, there's no ventilation problems, there's no roof problems, there's no need for a capital improvement.
Well, things change over time. At this point in time, we are
Not
not
at this time.
looking at any, yes, not at this time.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, there was no capital improvements made, well, I guess there's a question. Were there any capital improvements from the 2015 bond for either of these buildings?
Not to my recollection, no.
No, so, okay. And the Buildings and Grounds Committee meetings, they were talking in a couple meetings in the minutes about capital projects. Is there anything on that capital project list for either one of these buildings?
But we didn't see the final suggestion. We have not seen the final, so
As of now?
as of now, no, but as I alluded to earlier, there will be an additional phase, and we don't have all the projects spelled out yet. So as of the previous list, no.
Okay. So you said that was there an architectural review for either building for the 2015 bond campaign?
I believe at the time we had looked at some projects, but due to the fact that unless you run them as a formal school, you do not get reimbursement on the bond project, so we eliminated them from consideration for funding through the bond monies.
For the fiscal year that just ended, and I realize your results aren't final, but what was the gain or loss from either building? I understand it's an estimate.
We're probably going to have to get back to you on that.
That's fair. Do you know if you made money in that, on either building?
It's a small amount.
Yeah, I would say a small amount.
A small amount.
And in this year, have any of the tenants not paid their rent because of the pandemic?
Mrs. Plotty, I don't know if everybody's up to date. I know we've made some accommodations. Everybody's up to date.
Everybody's up to date? Okay, fine. What is the longest lease in each building? What year does that go out to?
I'd have to get back to Mr. Morrow. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. What is the criteria for selling either one of those buildings? Is it a financial? So if we have a capital improvement that puts this into a loss, is that unacceptable to the board then to keep these buildings and entertain the possibility of them being sold?
I don't think we have a hard and fast policy on it at this point, but, for me personally, if we got into a position where we were losing money, we'd have to take a serious look at it, obviously. That has not been the case, but it would have been the case with Masera. Obviously, the other aspect of this is, is there a market for the building? So at this point, of course, both of those buildings are occupied. Well, certainly, but they're occupied now.
Yeah, okay. that's it for those two. My last question is, and it has to do with the context of Masera. I'm going to read a small excerpt from February 6 minutes. Mr. Tibbetts suggested building a park, but Mr. Geller advised that the town/county has no interest in building and maintaining a park. Okay? Who did the district specifically speak to in the county? And when did they speak to them?
Do you think that, Mr. Marmo, do you think that the town is willing to buy would be willing to buy and maintain the property?
I don't know.
I did.
Where did?
I have had conversations with people in the town, and
I'm talking about the county. Who did you speak to in the county? Because
I didn't speak to anybody in the county. I said the town.
well, the minute says the town and the county, and I assume they were all approved. So you didn't speak to anybody in the county.
No, the county. Yeah, maybe I had informal conversations with legislators, but nobody in the development agency of the county.
Okay, because the Department of Parks for the county and legislative firings office for the county has no record of the district speaking to anybody.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Brown, will then get back?
Yes, I'll email you.
Whatever.
Yeah, I will email you tomorrow with the ending date for the lease.
Okay, go to Monday.
That's fine. Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn to executive session? The board will discuss personnel, negotiations, and litigation. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. At the conclusion of executive session, the board will reconvene to public session in the district office boardroom to consider any items for which a vote is required. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good evening.